Hello, I want to introduce to you the ISTE standards for students and educators. My name is Julie Tabor O'Quinn, and I have been teaching for 12 years. I am a national board certified teacher. I've been teaching third grade for 11 years, and this is my first year teaching second grade. I try to incorporate a lot of technology into my classroom, and I'm one of the lead technology teachers in our district. First, I want to introduce you to the ISTE student standards. And there are 7 standards. And the first one is the empowered learner. And that's where students leverage technology to take an active role in choosing, achieving, and demonstrating competency in their learning goals, informed by the learning sciences. There are 4 parts to standard 1. And 1A is articulate and set personal learning goals. 1B is build networks and customize their learning environments. 1C, use technology to seek feedback. And 1D is understand the fundamental concepts of technology, operations, and demonstrate the ability to choose. Then our second standard for students is digital citizenship. Students recognize their rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of living, learning, and working in an interconnected digital world, and they act and model in ways that are safe, legal, and ethical. And there are also 4 sub standards to standard 2, and it's 2A, where they cultivate and manage their digital identity, reputation, or where their actions in the digital world. They engage in a positive and safe and legal ethical behavior. They demonstrate an understanding of and respect for the rights of obligations of using and sharing intellectual property. And D, manage their personal data to maintain digital privacy and security. Then you have standard number 3. Standard number 3 is the knowledge constructor, and that's where students critically curate a variety of resources using digital tools to construct knowledge, produce creative artifacts, and make meaningful learning experiences for themselves and other students. And there are also 4 um, subcategories to standard 3. And the 3A is plan and employ effective research strategies. 3B is evaluate the accuracy and perspective and the credibility of other resources. 3C is curate information from digital resources using a variety of tools and methods. And 3D, build knowledge by actively exploring real world issues. Then we have standard 4. Standard 4 is innovative design. And students use a variety of technologies within a design process to identify and solve problems by creating new, useful, or imaginative solutions. And there are also 4 subcategories to standard 4. And 4A is know and use a deliberate design process for gathering ideas. So here's a little thing where they can use the engineering design process. 3B, they select and use digital tools to plan, manage, and design process that considers design constraints. 4C is develop, test, and refine prototypes as part of a design process. And 4D, exhibit a tolerance of ambiguity and perseverance and the capacity to work with open-ended problems. Then you have standard number 5, which is the computational thinker. And that's where students develop and employ strategies for understanding and solving problems in ways that leverage the power of technological methods to develop and test solutions. There are also 4 subcategories to standard 5, and that's 5A is to formulate problem definitions. 5B, collect data or identify relevant data sets. 5C, break problems into component parts. And 5D, understand how automation works and use algorithmic thinking to develop a sequence of steps to create and test automated solutions. Then we have standard number 6, and that's the creative communicator. And that is students communicate clearly and express themselves creatively for a variety of purposes using the platforms, tools, and styles, formats, and digital media appropriate to their goals. There are also 4 subcategories to standard 6, and that's 6A, you choose the appropriate platforms and tools. 6B, they create original works. 6C, they communicate complex ideas clearly and effectively. 6D, they publish or present content that customizes the message and medium for the intended audience. And then we have the last, but definitely not the least, is the global collaborator. And that's where students use digital tools to broaden their perspectives and enrich their learning by collaborating with others and working effectively in teams locally and globally. And there are also 4 subcategories to Standard 7. 7A, use digital tools to connect with learners from a variety of backgrounds and cultures. Like you can Skype with other students across the world. For instance, here they're looking at different animals around the world, and they're actually Skyping and talking with classes in those areas and using like Zoom classes and stuff like that. 7B, they use and collaborate technology to work with others. And you can see here that they're working like in teams to do research on the animals. And 7C, they contribute constructively to project teams, assuming various roles and responsibilities to work effectively toward common goal. And 7D, explore local and global issues and use collaborative technologies to work with the investigative solution. So here they are. There is different animals around the world, and they are trying to figure out um, what the animals need to eat, what they need to survive, and so they talk with the professionals in the area, and they get to collaborate together as a team and work together. Now, you also have standards for educators, and these are the IST standards for educators. And you can see for one is the empowered professional, and it's the learner, and that's where educators continually improve their practice. Then you have 3 subcategories to that one. 1A is set professional learning goals, 1B is pursue professional interest, and 1C, stay current with research that supports improved student learning outcomes. Then you have standard 2, which is for the leader, and that's where educators seek out opportunities for leadership to support student empowerment. Then you have standard 3, which is the citizen, which educators inspire students positively to contribute to it, responsibility to participate in the digital world. You also have 4 subcategories to that. Then you have standard 4, which is the learning catalyst part of this, and that's collaborator. That's where educators dedicate time to collaborate with both colleagues and students to improve practices. Then you have your standard 5, which is a designer. Educators design authentic, learner driven activities and environments that recognize and accommodate learning variability. Then you have standard 6, which is the facilitator, where that's educators facilitate learning with technology to support student achievement for the ISTE standards for students. Then you have the analyst. An educator needs to be an analyst for standard 7, and that's where educators understand and use data to drive their instruction and supports students in achieving their learning goals. And they can do this by providing alternative ways for students to demonstrate competency. They use technology to design and implement a variety of formative and summative assessments, and they use assessment data to guide progress and communicate with students, parents, and education stakeholders to build students' self-direction. Now that we have went through all of the standards, I just wanted to thank you so much for joining me. And if you do have any questions, please email me at joquinn@kot.org. And I look forward to hearing from any of you. And thank you so much for listening.